did certain things this certain way. So I do want to say that I am sewing her ponytail down. And you might be thinking, well, you're not using human hair. I'm not, but it's because I don't really trust glue. I am using this Camille Rose to first go over her entire part and scalp to really make sure that I'm locking in moisture. I also take down a ponytail and do the middle part because, as you guys know, wearing a ponytail, sometimes that middle part gets to itching, and we're not going to be touching the middle part of his ponytail for a very long time. I do add extensions onto this part. I use about, I would say, half of a pencil. As far as if you was to split a pencil down in half, I use 3 pillars of that amount of hair. If you were to split a pencil, that is how small these extensions that I'm adding in. And I just braid all of the braids together and feed in the braiding hair. And I do that because I want to braid off of her natural hair, and I don't want her hair to be coming out of this ponytail. And I just braid it all the way down. I am using short pieces of hair. Once I get to a part where I'm like, oh, I can fold it, I am then going to fold like you see, and I'm going to crochet in the tail end like you see here of essentially that's all braiding hair because it's super skinny. And I am just basically just crocheting that all the way through. And that is pretty much what I am doing. And or latch hooking. I would say latch hooking because people are like, crochet. Sometimes they don't understand, but I am using a latch hook to basically crochet in the tail end of the braid, and that is what I'm going off of. I did prep needle and thread to the side, and I'm going through her braid and through the width. So you're going to see me kind of, I don't want to say struggle, but kind of, tussle with this hair. I do not double with the ponytail at all. You can if you want to. It depends on the thickness that you want, but I'm starting at the tip of this braid, and I am just really securing in and doing the knots, but I am going through the width, and then as I go up, I am going to be going under. But the first end, which is the very end of where I'm starting of the extension here, and I am using organic weave, I am going through the width because that is the foundation before I start going up, and that will really secure and make sure this ponytail is going nowhere. And if you are wondering why, and I do it at least 3 or 4 times of just securing, and then the last time I go under the width. If you want to see another video of me doing it super close and in slow motion, let me know. But I also throw the needle and thread up before I wrap around, and then I go under. I go around it twice with the extension. I go under the width and I just pull, and I do like a little slip knot as I pull through to really secure and anchor in. And the reason why I'm sewing it down, because again, I don't trust glue, and 2, she does a lot of active sports, and I didn't want to have to worry about her having tumbleweave at any point. But you see, I pinned you can see I just pinned it upward, and then I go and I take it and I go under, and I don't go around the whole thing. I pretty much stay in the center of her braid when I go under, and then I go over depending on how I feel. And you want to make sure you're being very tight with the weave, like with the track. You want to make sure the track is tightly turned or twisted around her braid, so that way it's not bulking up and that it is nice and secure. Then I throw the needle and thread upward, and then I wrap around like you see I'm doing here. And I'm doing it twice, making sure, and then I go under the width, and then I just go through her braid, her natural hair, and I just go through and I tighten it and make a little slip knot, and I tighten it. If you want a more faster pace and you want to use glue, I would suggest you getting the wrapping strips and wrapping it around this braid that I have here, and you wrap it around and really make sure it's secure, and then you just use hair glue and you just glue it around that. But you want to make sure you protect your ponytail with the wrapping strips before you glue anything down. But again, I don't trust glue, but to an extent, but at the same time, like I said, she's very active. So to really make sure, she doesn't have any slippage, sewing it down was the best option. But I do know how to do the track. And I'm not saying that I've had bad experiences with like using glue, doing it on a client, because my clients have never had glue in their hair. But as a person that has received a ponytail with glue, I definitely had glue in my head. So I was like, I'm not doing that to this client, aka my daughter. And yeah, and if you want to see how I take it out, which I think I will do a video on how I remove these extensions from her ponytail, so you guys can really see how safe and secure her hair is doing it this way. Be on the lookout for that. But you see, I wrap it around twice, and I'm wrapping upward. I do want to say I'm wrapping upward because I'm not wrapping in a still place. You don't want to run out of your bundle too soon. So I do a nice little stretch upward, and then I go underneath those widths and I sew it down. It's really up to you when it comes to the amount of bundles that you use. You can use 2. I am only using 1, and I feel like her ponytail came out very nice and full, and mainly because her curl pattern is more of a water wave curl pattern. And again, everything that I will be using will be in the description box below. I will be linking it into my Amazon storefront, so you guys can just purchase this hair and have it mailed right to your house. And you can purchase all the supplies in itself. You can have it come right to your home, and you can achieve this hairstyle super quickly without having to drive around store to store to find the certain curl pattern or hair supply you would like to use. But yeah, and I am just sewing it down. My needle and thread is getting a little bit short, but as you can see, I'm going up her ponytail pretty quickly. And another way you could do this as well is, you guys see how I braided her hair down and then I tucked it. You can also use the feather crochet. If you want to see a video of me using feather crochet to also build up a ponytail, let me know, okay? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, but you guys can see that I'm going upward with the bundle, and it's not tangling as much and this and that, because I had a long piece of string, a thread, and at first it was giving me a little bit of a hard time and I had to get it together. But you guys can pretty much see that I'm going upward with the track, then I go under with the needle and thread, and I just pull through, create a little slip knot, pull through. And I'm doing a slip knot you would do if you were doing some type of sew-in of sort, so that way it won't come out. And then right before I end up having to tie on another needle and thread, which I might have did already, I take that needle and I go through the widths when I'm having to like add more like needle and thread, because I want to make sure that that thread does not come through and come down. And I think that is what I am about to do right now. And I know you guys think I'm doing a voiceover, guys. So yeah, I'm watching just like you are to really make sure. But yeah, I am getting very short as far as like the needle and thread. So yes, this is the section where I am tying off my thread and about to cut it. And I'm really making sure I really secure this needle and thread, and then I'm going to cut it and create another knot. But I'm really over here securing the bag, if you will. I'm securing it. I'm about to cut it. Now I'm about to create a knot, and then I'm going to add on another needle and thread that I have prepared to the side to make sure everything is going smoothly. You want to make sure that everything you're using is all prepped to the side, because that really helps with time crunch. Now you see me adding in the new piece of thread, and I pretty much just go under and then continue. And I go one time, I believe, through the actual width with this needle and thread, and I did make it pretty long, but you can see I'm creating the knot. I'm going through to secure it, and then I'm going to continue to wrap upward with the rest of my bundles. Well, the rest of this bundle. And yeah, you want to make sure you throw the needle and thread always upward before you wrap the braiding hair. So you're going to see me place this needle up onto her braid, and then you're going to see me wrap one, and then the second time, and then you're going to see me grab for the needle and thread and go under those both, create a slip knot, and then I'm going to pull and really make it secure. And then I'm going to also throw it up again. You see, sometimes getting in the habit, I'm like, dang, I didn't throw it upward yet. So I have to go back, unravel it, and then I have to pin it upward, because even me doing it. Throw the needle and thread upward, then wrap twice, then really secure it. Once you get to the end of the bundle, you're going to do the same thing you did when you started it. You're going to go through that width. And then I went through the ponytail holder as well, that is holding her ponytail together. So you're going to go through the actual width with your needle and thread and go under it a couple of times, create slip knots a couple of times, and even go through the ponytail holder to really make sure it's secure. And then you're going to tie it off, and you're going to tie it off each time because you just want to really make sure that this is nice and secure and that it's not going anywhere. Because when I tell you, my daughter, she be taking herself through there, okay? Like, she's very wild child, and she's not going to tie her hair up like she should, and she's going to play gym, and, you know, the ball may hit her head. So we want to make sure this ponytail is nice and secure. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so that's what I am doing. I'm just securing it. And then you're going to see me then do the oil sheen and everything. I do want to say that I did do a braid as a base to cover up the track that is on my live for you guys to see. And I also will have a clip of it on my channel as well on how I secured it. But you guys are going to see that how I wanted to originally secure it was just not the way. I had to pivot. I'm not even going to hold you guys. I had to pivot a lot. So I do want to make that very clear. But once I pivoted, man, because I did not make the ponytail super tight at her base with the ponytail holder like I should have. But that's okay, because when I added the braid to go and wrap around to cover up the width and to secure it, I made sure I anchored it in nice and tight. But you will have to catch that on my live. But I did want to show you guys how I secured the final last part of the track, which I thought I did a great job with the camera view. Again, if you guys want to see that again in the slower motion, just let me know in the comments below. And I'm creating the little knots, and then I'm going to cut and wrap it around and cut. So I like to wrap it around before I completely cut and create a nice tight knot. But yeah, this hairstyle turned out super cute, and you see right here, I'm about to cut. And yeah, now I'm going over it with some Iso Plus oil sheen to really make sure it is shining. And then I'm doing her edges. You guys want to make sure that you rinse out that edge control every day. And I'm stressing this because so many girls are losing their edges. For nighttime wear, you want to make sure you wear a silk scarf wrapped around, not a bonnet. And for showering or bathing, you want to wear a shower cap every time. But yes, here is the finished product. I hope you guys enjoy. And here's some other tutorials for you guys to enjoy as well. See you in the next one. Peace and hair grease. Bye.